Saving his life was the most dangerous mistake she would ever make, because the man having a heart attack in first class wasn't just rich. He wasn't just important. He was Korean Mafia, and the moment she forced the emergency landing, she unknowingly tied her fate to his enemies, his family, and a world that does not forgive weakness. Before we go any further, tell me where you're watching from. Drop your city or country in the comments. And if you're new here, subscribe 30,000 feet above Denver. Angela Moyo noticed the way the man in seat 1A kept rubbing his left arm. Most people wouldn't have caught it. Probably wouldn't have cared. But Angela had lost her father to a heart attack when she was 16 back in Harare before her family moved to the States, and she'd memorized every symptom like a prayer she never wanted to forget. The passenger was young, maybe early 30s, with sharp features and an expensive suit that probably cost more than her. Monthly rent. His assistant sat across from him, typing furiously on a laptop, completely oblivious. Angela moved closer, her heart picking up speed. "Sir, are you feeling all right?" He looked up, irritation flashing in his dark eyes. "I'm fine." But his face had gone pale, and sweat beaded along his hairline despite the cool cabin temperature. "Your arm," she pressed gently, ignoring the assistant's glare. "Does it hurt?" "I said I'm fine," he snapped, then winced, his hand moving to his chest. That was when everything clicked into place. Angela didn't hesitate. She grabbed the intercom. "Captain, we need an emergency landing now. Passenger in first class is having a heart attack." "What? Who authorized—" The assistant jumped up, his voice sharp with anger. "Sit down," Angela commanded, her tone brooking no argument. She'd dealt with entitled passengers before, but this wasn't about egos or protocols. This was about life. The man in 1A tried to stand, then collapsed back into his seat, his breathing shallow. Angela was already moving, grabbing the emergency medical kit, her hands steady despite the adrenaline flooding her system. "Sir, I need you to stay calm, okay? We're getting you help." "Kang Tae-hyun doesn't need help," he muttered, but his voice had lost its edge. "Well, Kang Tae-hyun is having a heart attack, so yes, he does," Angela said firmly, checking his pulse. Too fast, too irregular. "Captain, how far to the nearest airport?" "Kansas City is 12 minutes out. Emergency crews are standing by." 12 minutes. Could be a lifetime or nothing at all. Angela placed an aspirin under his tongue, kept talking to him, keeping him conscious. His eyes kept trying to close, and she wouldn't let them. "Stay with me, okay? What do you do for work?" "Import, export," he managed. "Sounds boring," she said, trying to keep him engaged. "I bet you're actually a secret agent or something." A ghost of a smile crossed his face. "Something like that." The plane tilted, beginning its descent. Angela braced herself against the seat, never taking her eyes off him. His assistant had gone silent, pale, finally realizing the gravity of the situation. When they touched down, paramedics rushed aboard. Angela gave them a rapid-fire rundown of symptoms, timeline, what she'd administered. One of the paramedics looked at her with respect. "You probably saved his life." As they wheeled Tae-hyun out on a stretcher, his hand shot out, grabbing her wrist. "Your name?" "Angela," she said softly. "Angela Moyo." "I'll remember." His eyes closed, and they whisked him away. Angela stood there, her uniform rumpled, hands shaking now that the crisis had passed. The assistant approached her, his expression unreadable. "Do you have any idea who you just saved?" "A man who needed help," she said simply. "That's all that matters." The assistant's lips twitched. "Kang Tae-hyun is... let's just say he's important. Very important. He'll want to thank you. Properly." "He doesn't owe me anything." Angela turned away, exhausted. "I was just doing my job." But 3 days later, when a black Mercedes pulled up outside her apartment building in Kansas City, she realized Kang Tae-hyun didn't agree. The driver handed her an envelope. Inside was a handwritten note in surprisingly elegant script. You saved my life. The least I can do is buy you coffee. KTH, along with an address to a cafe in the Plaza District and a time. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. Angela should have thrown it away, should have ignored it. She had a life. A simple life working flights, sending money back to her mother and younger brother in Zimbabwe, keeping her head down and staying out of trouble. But curiosity was a dangerous thing. The next afternoon, she found herself walking into Cafe Europa, wearing her nicest jeans and a simple blouse, feeling underdressed and overdressed all at once. Tae-hyun sat at a corner table looking healthier than he had any right to be. When Hyuk-boy saw her, he stood, and she noticed the slight stiffness in his movements. Still recovering then. "You came," he said, and there was genuine surprise in his voice. "You sent a car to my apartment," Angela replied, sliding into the seat across from him. "That's either really confident or really creepy." He had the grace to look embarrassed. "I may have used some resources to find you. I wanted to thank you properly." "You could have sent flowers." "I did. You weren't home." Angela blinked. "Wait, the roses yesterday, those were from you? You thought they were from someone else." Something flickered in his expression, almost like disappointment. "I thought they were a mistake," she admitted. "Nobody sends me flowers." "Then everyone you know is an idiot," Tae-hyun said bluntly, and ordered coffee without asking what she wanted. When it arrived, it was perfect. Exactly how she took it. "How did you—" "I'd pay attention," he said simply. "On the plane. You were drinking coffee from your thermos between checking on passengers, 2 sugars, extra cream." The fact that he'd noticed, while literally having a heart attack, was both impressive and slightly insane. They talked for 2 hours. He told her he ran an import business. She suspected there was more to it than that, but didn't push. She told him about growing up in Harare, about moving to the States when she was 18, about the flight attendant job being a stepping stone to nursing school. "Why nursing?" he asked. "Because my father died and I couldn't help him," she said quietly, "and I never want to feel that helpless again." Tae-hyun reached across the table, his hand covering hers. It was warm, solid, real. "You helped me. You didn't freeze. You acted. Anyone would have—" "No," he interrupted, his voice firm. "Most people panic, or they assume someone else will handle it, or they don't want to get involved. But you saw me when no one else did." The weight of those words settled. Between them, heavy and significant. When they finally left the cafe, it was getting dark. Tae-hyun walked her to her car, an old Honda that had seen better days. He looked at it with barely concealed horror. "This is safe?" he asked doubtfully. "It runs," Angela defended. "That's all I need." "Angela." He hesitated, and she could see him choosing his words carefully. "Can I see you again?" "Why?" she asked, genuinely curious. "You've thanked me. You don't owe me anything." "This isn't about owing," he said quietly. "This is about wanting." Her heart did a stupid little flip. "Wanting what?" "To know you," Tae-hyun said simply. "If you'll let me." She should have said no, should have recognized that this man, this mysterious man with his expensive suits and private jets and black Mercedes, was probably trouble wrapped in attractive packaging, but instead she heard herself say, "Okay, but next time you come to my neighborhood, no fancy cafes." His smile was slow, genuine. "Deal." He lifted her hand to his lips, pressing a soft kiss to her knuckles that made her breath catch. "Thank you, Angela, for everything." She drove home in a daze, her hand still tingling where he'd kissed it. What she didn't know was that across town, in a penthouse suite at the Raphael Hotel, Tae-hyun's world was about to get complicated. His phone rang. The caller ID made him tense. "Mother." "Yes?" he answered in Korean. "You had a heart attack and didn't tell me." His mother's voice was sharp, angry, worried. "I had to hear it from Sung Min. What were you thinking?" "I'm fine now. You're 32, Tae-hyun, too young for heart attacks. This is what happens when you refuse to settle down, refuse to take care of yourself, refuse to... Mother, please. Don't mother please me. I've been patient. I've let you run that business, make your own choices. But this is a warning. You need stability. You need a wife. Taehyun's jaw tightened. I'm not having this. Conversation again. Then I'll have it for you. Ji-woo called yesterday. His blood ran cold. No. She's willing to reconcile. I said no. His voice was hard, final. Ji-woo and I are done. We've been done for 2 years. She made a mistake. She slept with my business partner and tried to steal company secrets, Tae-hyun said flatly. That's not a mistake. That's betrayal. His mother sighed. People change, and she comes from a good family. The merger would be... I don't care about the merger. He was pacing now, frustrated. I'm not marrying Ji-woo. Not now, not ever. Then who? You're not getting younger, Tae-hyun. If you won't choose Ji-woo, then choose someone. An image flashed in his mind. Warm brown eyes, gentle hands, a smile that felt like sunshine. I'll choose, he said quietly, but on my terms. He hung up before his mother could argue, then immediately dialed Sung-min, his assistant. Find out everything about Angela Moyo, he ordered, but be discreet. I don't want her scared off. Boss, are you sure about this? After Ji-woo... Angela is nothing like Ji-woo, Tae-hyun said firmly. She's different. Different how? Tae-hyun thought about the way she'd commanded the cabin, the way she'd refused to back down, the way she'd looked at him like he was just a man who needed help. Not a name, not a reputation, just a person. She's real, he said finally, and I'm going to make sure she stays in my life. What Tae-hyun didn't know was that keeping Angela in his life was going to be harder than he ever imagined. Because 3,000 miles away, Ji-woo had just heard about his heart attack too, and she had plans of her own. Angela's neighborhood was nothing like Tae-hyun expected. The houses were small, paint peeling in places, but there were flower boxes in windows and kids playing basketball in driveways. Real, lived in. He'd grown up in Seoul's wealthiest district, then moved to upscale penthouses in whatever city his business took him to. This felt foreign, but not unpleasant. Angela lived in a duplex with yellow shutters. When she answered the door, she was wearing sweatpants and an oversized University of Missouri hoodie, hair pulled back in a messy bun. She looked beautiful. You're actually here, she said, surprise coloring her voice. I half thought you'd send a car instead. I drive myself sometimes, Tae-hyun said, slightly defensive. Then, because he couldn't help himself. Is that what you think of me? That I'd send someone else? I don't know what to think of you yet, Angela admitted, stepping aside to let him in. You're still kind of a mystery. Her apartment was tiny, maybe a quarter the size of his hotel suite, but it was warm. Photos covered the walls. Family, friends, places she'd traveled, books stacked on every surface, a small kitchen where something smelled absolutely incredible. I made sadza and greens, she said, catching him staring at the pot on the stove. I wasn't sure if you'd actually eat it, but... I'll eat anything you make, Tae-hyun said honestly. They ate at her tiny kitchen table, knees almost touching in the cramped space. The sadza was different. Thicker than rice made from cornmeal. She showed him how to roll it into balls, dip it in the greens. My grandmother's recipe, Angela explained. She used to say food made with love tastes better than anything fancy. She was right, Tae-hyun said, and meant it. After dinner, they sat on her lumpy couch and she pulled out a deck of cards. You know how to play rummy? He didn't. She taught him, laughing when he got confused about the rules, teasing him when he tried to cheat. They played for hours, talking about everything and nothing. She told him about her brother, Tendai, who was studying engineering in Omaha. He told her about growing up with impossible expectations, about the pressure to be perfect. "Sounds lonely," Angela said quietly. "It was," Tae-hyun admitted. "It is." She reached over, her fingers brushing his hand. "Well, maybe it doesn't have to be anymore." The moment stretched between them, full of possibility. Then Tae-hyun's phone rang. He glanced at it, frowned. "I need to take this. Business." "Go ahead," Angela said, standing to clear the dishes. Tae-hyun stepped onto her small balcony, answering in Korean. "What?" "We have a problem," Sung-min said urgently. "The shipment from Busan. Customs is asking questions." "Handle it." "Boss, it's not that simple. Someone tipped them off. Someone who knows our routes, our schedules." Tae-hyun's grip tightened on the phone. Ji-woo. "That's my guess, too. She's been making calls, reaching out to old contacts. I think she's trying to sabotage us." "Then stop her," Tae-hyun snapped. "I don't care how. Just make sure our shipments stay clean and our business stays quiet." He hung up, frustration burning in his chest. Ji-woo couldn't just let go. Couldn't accept that they were done. She'd always been vindictive, but this was crossing a line. When he came back inside, Angela was washing dishes, humming softly to herself. "Everything okay?" she asked, not turning around. "Just complications," Tae-hyun said carefully. "Nothing you need to worry about." She did turn then, studying his face. "You know, you don't have to pretend with me. Whatever you're dealing with, I'm not going to judge." "You might," he said quietly, "if you knew." "Knew what? That you're not just an import-export guy?" Angela raised an eyebrow. "Tae-hyun, I'm not stupid. Private jets, armed assistants, the way people look at you like you're dangerous, I figured that out pretty quick." His heart sank. "And you're still here?" "I'm still here," she confirmed, "because whatever else you are, you're also the man who noticed how I take my coffee while having a heart attack. You're the man who showed up to my neighborhood instead of demanding I come to you. You're—" She hesitated. "You're someone I want to know better, even if it's complicated." Tae-hyun crossed the small space between them, cupping her face gently in his hands. "It will be complicated. My family, my business, my ex. There are things about my life that are messy and dangerous, and then we'll figure it out," Angela interrupted. "Together, if you want to." "I want to," he said fiercely. "More than anything." He kissed her forehead, soft and reverent, and felt her melt into him. They stood like that for a long moment, just breathing each other in, before reality intruded again in the form of his phone, buzzing with urgent messages. Over the next 2 weeks, they fell into a rhythm. Tae-hyun would visit between business trips, bringing her small gifts. Not expensive jewelry or designer bags, but thoughtful things. A first-edition copy of a book she'd mentioned loving, a scarf in her favorite color, Zimbabwean coffee he'd tracked down through his contacts. Angela introduced him to her world. Soul food restaurants in the urban core, jazz nights at the Blue Room, walking through the Nelson Atkins Museum on free admission days, places he'd never have discovered on his own. "You're spoiling me," she accused after he bought her a new winter coat when he noticed hers had a broken zipper. "You deserve to be spoiled," he replied simply. But shadows were gathering. Ji-woo had arrived in Kansas City. She showed up at one of Tae-hyun's business dinners, uninvited, wearing a red dress that had probably cost more than Angela's monthly salary. "Tae-hyun," she purred, sliding into the seat next to him despite his clear displeasure. "You've been avoiding me. I've been ignoring you," he corrected coldly. "There's a difference. Don't be cruel. We were so good together." Her hand landed on his arm, possessive. "We could be again. We're done, Ji-woo. I've made that clear." "Because of her?" Ji-woo's eyes flashed. "The flight attendant. Really, Tae-hyun. You're having some kind of savior complex over a girl who—" "Don't." His voice was sharp as broken glass. "Don't you dare talk about her." Jiwoo leaned back, reassessing. You're serious about her. Deadly serious. Then you're a fool, Jiwoo said softly, because she doesn't know who you really are, does she? What you really do, the people you work with, the deals you make. Angela knows enough. Does she know about the Young family, about the territory disputes, about what happened in Seoul last year? Jiwoo's smile was poison. I wonder how she'd feel if she knew everything. Are you threatening me? I'm reminding you, Jiwoo corrected. You have enemies, Taehyun, people who would love to use someone you care about against you. Is she ready for that? Can she handle that? The questions haunted him as he drove to Angela's apartment that night. She took one look at his face and pulled him inside. What happened? Jiwoo is in town, he admitted. She's making trouble. The ex? Angela had heard bits and pieces about her. The ex, he confirmed. She wants me back, and she's willing to cause problems to make it happen. Angela was quiet for a moment. Do you want her back? God, no! Taehyun pulled Angela close. You're nothing like her. She was all ambition and calculation. You're genuine, kind, real. I'm also confused, Angela admitted, about what exactly you do, about who you really are, about... I'm the second son of the Kang family, Taehyun interrupted. My father built an empire importing Korean goods to the States, but it's not entirely legal. Some of our shipments, some of our business partners, they operate in gray areas. How gray? Angela asked carefully. Gray enough that I have enemies, he said honestly. Gray enough that being close to me could be dangerous. She should have run, should have told him to leave and never come back. Instead, she asked, Are you hurting people? Selling drugs, trafficking humans, anything like that? Never, Taehyun said firmly. I have lines I won't cross, but the business, it attracts dangerous people, and Jiwoo knows things, has connections. She could make life very difficult. For you or for me? Both, he admitted. Angela took a deep breath. Okay, so what do we do? The we made his heart clench. You still want to be we? You think I scare that easy? She smiled slightly. I grew up in Zimbabwe during the economic collapse. I've dealt with scary before, and you're worth the risk. He kissed her then. Not on the forehead or hand this time, but on the cheek, lingering, pouring everything he felt into that simple touch. I'll protect you, he promised, whatever it takes. But protection proved harder than he anticipated. 2 days later, Angela's car wouldn't start. When the mechanic looked at it, he found sugar in the gas tank. The day after that, she got a call at work. A woman's voice speaking accented English. Stay away from Kang Tae-hyun. This is your only warning. Angela told Taehyun, who went nuclear. He confronted Jiwoo at her hotel. You need to stop. Or what? Jiwoo was filing her nails, utterly unconcerned. You'll hurt me. We both know you won't. I'll destroy you, Taehyun said quietly. Professionally, financially, socially. Your family's business deals with mine. I'll make sure those end. The society connections you value so much, gone. I can make you invisible, Jiwoo. Is that what you want? For the first time, uncertainty flickered in her eyes. You wouldn't. Try me. Touch Angela again. Threaten her again. Even look at her wrong. And you'll find out exactly how ruthless I can be. He left her sitting there, shaken, and went straight to Angela's work. She was in her uniform, about to board a flight to Charlotte. When she saw him, surprise and pleasure warred on her face. Taehyun? What are you? He pulled her aside into an empty gate area. I handled Jiwoo. She won't bother you. Again. How? I made her understand the consequences, he said simply. But Angela, this won't be the last problem. My life is complicated. There will always be someone with an agenda, someone who wants to use you to get to me. So what are you saying? Her voice was carefully neutral. I'm saying, he took her hands, I'm saying I'm falling for you. Hard. And I need to know if you can handle this. If you want to handle this. Angela looked at their joined hands, at his face, at the intensity in his eyes. I'm scared, she admitted. This is way outside my experience, but I'm falling too, and I think maybe we're worth fighting for. He pulled her into a hug, right there in the terminal, not caring who saw. We are, he murmured against her hair. We absolutely are. But across town, Jiwoo was making a phone call. Mother, she said sweetly, I need a favor. Thanksgiving was supposed to be simple. Angela had invited Tae-hyun to her modest celebration. Her, Tendai visiting from Omaha, and a few friends from work. Nothing fancy, just turkey, stuffing, and people who cared about each other. What she got instead was a disaster. Tae-hyun arrived early carrying an expensive bottle of wine and looking nervous. Tendai, her 20-year-old brother, took one look at him and his jaw tightened. So you're the guy, Tendai said, not bothering with pleasantries. Tendai, Angela warned. No, it's fine, Tae-hyun said calmly. Yes, I'm the guy. The rich guy who shows up in fancy cars and expensive suits? Tendai crossed his arms. The one whose EX has been calling Angela, threatening her? That situation is handled, is it? Because my sister has been looking over her shoulder for weeks. She had to get her car fixed because someone sabotaged it. She's been getting weird phone calls, and all of this started when you came into her life. Tendai, stop, Angela interrupted, mortified. Taehyun isn't responsible for Jiwoo's actions, but he brought her into your life, Tendai countered. Him and his whole complicated world. Angela, you were safe before him. You were working toward nursing school, living your life, and now you're mixed up in whatever this is. The words hit harder because they were partially true. Taehyun's expression shuddered. If you want me to leave... No, Angela said firmly. Nobody's leaving. Tendai, I love you, but this is my choice. My life. And I'm supposed to just watch you get hurt? You're supposed to trust me, Angela shot back. I'm not a child. I know what I'm doing. Do you? Tendai challenged. Because from where I'm standing, you're falling for a guy who's clearly involved in some shady business, who has an ex-girlfriend psycho enough to vandalize your car, and who... The doorbell rang, interrupting the argument. Angela opened it to find a woman she didn't recognize. Older, elegant, wearing designer clothes and an expression of cool appraisal. You must be Angela Moyo, the woman said in accented English. I'm Kang Mi-sun, Tae-hyun's mother. The room went silent. Tae-hyun's face went pale. Mother, what are you doing here? Coming to meet the girl who's apparently captured my son's attention, Mi-sun said smoothly, stepping inside uninvited. I was in New York for business and thought I'd stop by. New York was 1,000 miles away. This wasn't a casual visit. Mi-sun's eyes swept over Angela's apartment. The modest furniture, the hand-me-down decorations, the clear signs of someone living paycheck to paycheck. Her expression remained polite, but Angela could read the judgment underneath. Please sit, Angela said, finding her voice. I'll get tea. Don't bother, Mi-sun said. I won't be staying long. Tae-hyun stepped forward. Mother, this isn't appropriate. What's not appropriate is you making decisions that affect our family without consulting us, Mi-sun interrupted. First the heart attack we had to hear about secondhand. Now, this. Her gesture encompassed Angela, dismissive and cruel. Don't, Tae-hyun said, his voice low and dangerous. Don't talk about her like she's a mistake. Isn't she? Mi-sun turned to Angela. You seem like a nice girl, but you're not right for my son. You don't understand our world, our culture, our expectations. Mother, let her finish, Angela said quietly, her pride stung but her spine straight. I want to hear what she has to say. Mi-sun's eyes narrowed slightly, reassessing. Tae-hyun needs someone who can navigate our social circles, someone who understands the family business, someone from a good family with connections that benefit us. Someone like Ji-woo, Angela guessed. Exactly like Ji-woo, Mi-sun confirmed. Despite their past difficulties, she's willing to reconcile. She understands what's at stake. She betrayed him, Angela said, her voice hardening. She slept with his business partner and tried to steal from him. That's what you want him to go back to? People make mistakes, Mi-sun said dismissively. In our world, strategic partnerships matter more than romantic notions. In my world, loyalty matters more than strategy, Angela countered, and respect matters more than connections. The temperature in the room dropped several degrees. Mi-sun stood. Tae-hyun, we're leaving. No, he said flatly. You're leaving. I'm staying. If you choose her, there will be consequences, Mi-sun warned. Your position in the family, your inheritance, I don't care, Tae-hyun interrupted. Keep the inheritance. Keep the position. I'll build something myself if I have to, but I won't give up Angela. Mi-sun's face went rigid. You're making a mistake. Then it's my mistake to make, Tae-hyun said firmly. After his mother left, the apartment felt like a battlefield. Tendai had witnessed the whole thing, his expression conflicted. The friends Angela had invited for Thanksgiving had made excuses and left during the confrontation. Well, Angela said into the silence, that was... I'm sorry, Tae-hyun said immediately. She had no right to come here to speak to you like that. She's your mother, Angela said quietly. She's protecting you. I get it. By insulting you? By treating you like you're not good enough? Tae-hyun shook his head. That's not protection. That's snobbery. Tendai cleared his throat. Look, I still think this is complicated and potentially dangerous. But anyone willing to stand up to their mother like that? Maybe you're not completely terrible. It was the closest thing to approval Tae-hyun was going to get. They salvaged what they could of Thanksgiving dinner. The turkey was dry, the stuffing cold, but somehow it didn't matter. They ate and talked, the tension slowly easing. Later, after Tendai had gone to sleep in Angela's room while she took the couch, Tae-hyun and Angela sat on her tiny balcony, wrapped in blankets against the November chill. Your mother hates me, Angela said. My mother doesn't know you, Tae-hyun corrected. If she did, she'd see what I see. Which is someone strong, someone kind, someone who doesn't back down even when things get hard. He kissed her hand. Someone worth fighting for. Your family won't make this easy, Angela warned. I know, but maybe we don't need easy. Maybe we just need to be stubborn enough to fight through the hard parts. She leaned against him, drawing comfort from his solid presence. What did your mother mean about consequences? Tae-hyun hesitated. My family's business. I'm supposed to take over when my father retires. If I go against their wishes, they could cut me out. Give everything to my older brother instead. And you'd be okay with that? For you? Yeah. He turned to face her. I've spent my whole life meeting their expectations, following their rules, and I've been miserable. But with you, I feel like I can breathe, like I can be myself without apology. Angela's eyes burned. You can't throw away your whole life for me. I'm not throwing it away. I'm choosing a different life, one where I'm happy. He cupped her face gently. One where I wake up excited instead of dreading the day. One where I have someone who sees me. Not my name, not my money, not my connections. Just me. She kissed his palm. I do see you, and I like what I see. They sat in silence for a while, watching their breath fog in the cold air. My mother called earlier, Angela admitted. Back in Harare. She heard from someone that I'm dating a Korean man, and she had questions. Bad questions? Confused questions, Angela corrected. She doesn't understand how we met, what we're doing together. She worries I'm getting in over my head." "Are you?" Tae-hyun asked quietly. "Probably," Angela admitted, "but maybe that's okay. Maybe some things are worth being in over your head for." Inside, Angela's phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. "He'll never choose you over his family. Save yourself the heartbreak. Someone who knows." Angela deleted it without showing Tae-hyun. But the seed of doubt had been planted. The next morning, Tae-hyun had to fly to Los Angeles for business. He kissed Angela's forehead goodbye, promised to call every day, and left. Tendai watched from the doorway. "You really love him, don't you?" "Is it that obvious?" Angela asked. "Yeah, and it's terrifying." Tendai sat beside her. "I don't like how complicated his life is. I don't like that you're getting threats because of him, but I've never seen you this happy. Even when things are hard, you're glowing." "He makes me feel seen," Angela admitted. "Like I matter beyond just being useful." "Then fight for it," Tendai said simply. "But be smart about it. Don't lose yourself trying to fit into his world." It was good advice. Too bad following it would prove nearly impossible. In Los Angeles, Tae-hyun's meeting was interrupted by his older brother, Kang Jae-hwan. Jae-hwan was everything Tae-hyun wasn't: polished, political, perfectly controlled. He'd married the woman their parents chose, had 2 children, ran his division of the family business with ruthless efficiency. "Mother called," Jae-hwan said, settling into the chair across from Tae-hyun. "She's upset." "Mother is always upset about something," Tae-hyun replied, not looking up from his documents. "This is different. This is about you making choices that could damage the family." Jae-hwan leaned forward. "This flight attendant, Angela, you need to end it. Not happening. Tae-hyun, be reasonable. You're putting a target on her back by associating with her. Our business has enemies, rivals who would love to use someone you care about as leverage. I'm aware of the risks. Are you? Because from where I'm sitting, you're being selfish. You're thinking with your heart instead of your head." Jae-hwan's voice hardened. "And that's dangerous, for you and for her." Tae-hyun finally looked up. "Did you ever love Sun-hee, your wife? Or did you just marry her because she checked all the right boxes?" Jae-hwan's expression flickered. "That's different." "Is it? You have a nice house, perfect children, a wife who hosts dinner parties and smiles for photos. But are you happy?" "Happiness is overrated," Jae-hwan said flatly. "Security, stability, family legacy, those things matter more." "Not to me," Tae-hyun said quietly. "Not anymore." "Then you're a fool." Jae-hwan stood. "And when this falls apart, and it will fall apart, don't expect the family to pick up the pieces." After he left, Tae-hyun sat alone in the empty conference room, his brother's words echoing. Was he being selfish? Was he putting Angela in danger? His phone rang. Angela's name on the screen made his chest tighten with something that felt like both joy and fear. "Hey," he answered, trying to sound normal. "Hey yourself, how's LA?" "Complicated, how's Kansas City?" "Quiet without you," she admitted. "I miss you." "Is that pathetic?" "If it is, then I'm pathetic too," Tae-hyun said. "I miss you constantly. When are you coming back?" "Day after tomorrow. Can I see you?" "You better," Angela said, and he could hear the smile in her voice. "I'm not letting you off that easy." After they hung up, Tae-hyun made a decision. He called Seung-min. "I need you to increase security around Angela. Discreet but thorough. I want to know if anyone even looks at her wrong." "Boss, are you sure about this? Getting this involved with a civilian?" "She's not a civilian," Tae-hyun interrupted. She's everything, and I won't let anything happen to her." Seung-min sighed. "All right, I'll set it up. But Tae-hyun, your family won't stop trying to break you two up." "I know, but they're going to fail." He hoped he sounded more confident than he felt. December brought snow to Kansas City and complications neither of them anticipated. Taehyun had been flying back and forth between cities for business, trying to handle his family's increasing pressure while maintaining his relationship with Angela. It was exhausting, but he'd never been happier. Until the night everything went sideways. Angela was working a late flight from Kansas City to Boston when she noticed a passenger watching her. Really watching her. Not the usual appreciative glances she sometimes got, but something colder, more calculated. Asian man, expensive suit, cold eyes. When she walked past his row, he spoke quietly in Korean. She didn't understand the words, but she understood the tone. Threat. She reported it to the captain, who had security meet the plane in Boston. The man was gone before they could question him. Angela called Taehyun immediately. "Someone was following me," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "On my flight. He said something in Korean. I don't know what, but it felt like a warning." Taehyun's blood ran cold. "Describe him." She did. His description matched one of the young. Family's enforcers. "I'm coming to get you," Taehyun said, already moving. "Stay in the airport, stay visible, don't go anywhere alone." "Taehyun, you're in Seattle." "I don't care. I'm getting on the next flight to Boston. Please, Angela, just stay safe until I get there." The fear in his voice scared her more than the man on her plane had. She waited in the busy terminal, surrounded by travelers, until Taehyun arrived 6 hours later, looking like he'd aged a year. He pulled her into a fierce hug, his hands shaking. "I'm okay," she murmured. "I'm right here." "This is my fault," he said roughly. "The Young family, they're rivals. They must have found out about you, decided to use you to get to me. So what do we do?" "You need to leave Kansas City for a while. Go somewhere safe until I can handle this." Angela pulled back. "Absolutely not. I'm not running and hiding because some thugs think they can intimidate me." "Angela, this isn't a game." "I know it's not a game," she interrupted. "But I also know that if I run now, I'll always be running. Your enemies will always find new ways to threaten me. At some point, I have to stand my ground. And if they hurt you," Taehyun's voice cracked, "if something happens to you because of me, then we deal with it together," Angela said firmly. "But I'm not leaving you to fight this alone." They flew back to Kansas City together, Taehyun's security team meeting them at the airport. Sungmin had arranged for a safe house, a modest apartment in the Crossroads Arts District, nothing flashy but secure. "You're staying here until this is resolved," Taehyun said. "And where will you be?" "Ending this." His expression was hard, dangerous. "The Jung family needs to understand you're off limits." "How are you going to make them understand that?" Taehyun's smile was cold. "By reminding them why it's a bad idea to make an enemy of the Kang family." He left her with 2 bodyguards, former military, competent, respectful. Angela hated it, hated being trapped, hated feeling helpless. But she understood the necessity. What she didn't know was that across town, Ji-woo and Mi-sun were having tea. "The Young family is making moves," Ji-woo said delicately. "How unfortunate for Taehyun's little girlfriend." Mi-sun's expression was carefully neutral. "You know something about this." "I may have." Mentioned to certain parties that Taehyun had developed an attachment to someone vulnerable, Ji-woo admitted. "Just casual conversation, you understand." "You put a target on an innocent girl's back," Mi-sun said coldly. "That's beneath even you." "Is it? You want her gone as much as I do. This is simply expediting the inevitable." "I want her gone through choice, not through fear," Mi-sun corrected. "There's a difference." But the damage was done. Taehyun's meeting with the Young family patriarch was tense, dangerous. Held in a private room at a steakhouse in Westport, Young Do-yeon was in his 60s, gray-haired, sharp-eyed, ruthless. He'd built his empire through intimidation and violence, and he didn't appreciate upstarts like Taehyun challenging his territory. "You wanted to talk," Do-hyun said. Talk. Your people approached someone under my protection, Tae-hyun said evenly. That stops now. Or what? You'll retaliate? Start a war? Do-hyun laughed. Over a girl? You've gone soft, Kang Tae-hyun. I've gone focused, Tae-hyun corrected. And I'm telling you, leave Angela Moyo alone. She's not part of our world, not part of our business. She's innocent. No one connected to you is innocent, Do-hyun said. That's the price of the life you've chosen. Then let me pay that price, Tae-hyun said quietly. Not her. If you have a problem with me, with my family, with our business, come at me directly. Leave her out of it. Do-hyun studied him for a long moment. You really care about her. Yes. Enough to make concessions? To negotiate? This was the moment Tae-hyun had been dreading. What do you want? The shipping routes through Portland, Do-hyun said immediately. Your family controls them. I want access. Those routes are worth millions. And she's worth more, apparently, Do-hyun interrupted. So, what's it going to be? Business or pleasure? Tae-hyun's hands clenched under the table. Those routes were crucial to his family's operations. Giving them up would probably cost him his position in the family business entirely. But the alternative was Angela in constant danger. I'll need time to arrange it with my family, Tae-hyun said finally. You have 48 hours. Do-hyun stood. And Kang? If you try to double-cross me, the girl pays the price. We clear? Crystal. When Tae-hyun returned to the safe house, Angela took one look at his face and knew. What did you promise them? She asked quietly. He told her everything. Angela's face went pale. No, absolutely not. You're not giving up part of your business for me. It's already decided. Then UN decide it, Angela said firmly. Tae-hyun, if you do this, your family will never forgive you. They'll cut you out completely. I don't care. I care, Angela interrupted, her voice breaking. I care that you're sacrificing everything for me. Your family, your business, your future. That's not love. That's self-destruction. Then what do you want me to do? Tae-hyun demanded. Let them threaten you? Hurt you? I can't. I won't risk you. So risk yourself instead. Angela shook her head. That's not fair either. They stood there, at an impasse, both trying to protect the other, neither willing to back down. Finally, Angela said, What if there's another way? What way? What if we disappear for a while? Not forever, just long enough to figure this out without your family or the young family breathing down our necks. You mean run away? I mean take a break, Angela corrected. Go somewhere neutral, somewhere we can think clearly. It was Tendai who suggested Omaha. My university has graduate housing, he explained when Angela called him. It's boring, quiet, off everyone's radar. You could stay with me for a few weeks, figure out your next move. So that's what they did. Tae-hyun told his family he needed time off for health reasons. Not entirely a lie, given his recent heart attack. Angela requested a leave of absence from work, and together they drove to Omaha in the middle of a snowstorm, leaving Kansas City behind. Tendai's apartment was tiny, barely big enough for one person, let alone three, but it was safe, anonymous, normal. For 2 weeks, Tae-hyun and Angela lived like regular people. They cooked meals together in Tendai's cramped kitchen. They walked through the Joslin Art Museum. They sat in coffee shops and talked for hours. They played board games with Tendai and his engineering friends, who treated Tae-hyun like just another guy instead of a mob boss. It was peaceful. I could get used to this, Tae-hyun admitted one night, washing dishes while Angela dried. To what? Living in a shoebox apartment with my brother? To being normal, he said quietly. To not constantly looking over my shoulder. To just being with you without all the complications. It's nice, Angela agreed, but it's not real life. Eventually, we have to go back. Do we? Tae-hyun turned to face her. What if we didn't? What if we just started over somewhere else? Left the family business, left the threats, left all of it behind? You'd really do that? Walk away from everything? For you, in a heartbeat. Angela's eyes filled with tears. But you'd regret it eventually. You'd miss your family, your work, your purpose, and you'd resent me for making you give it up. I wouldn't. You would, she said gently. Maybe not today, maybe not next year, but someday. And I don't think I could live with that. The truth of her words hung between them. Before either could respond, Taehyun's phone rang, Jae-hwan's name on the screen. I need to take this, Taehyun said reluctantly. He stepped outside into the cold Nebraska night. What? Father had a stroke, Jae-hwan said without preamble. He's in the hospital in Seoul. It's bad. Taehyun's world tilted. How bad? Bad enough that Mother wants you home. Now, whatever issues you're having, whatever drama with your girlfriend, it needs to wait. Family first. For once, Taehyun didn't argue. He flew to Seoul the next day, leaving Angela in Omaha. The goodbye was heartbreaking. I'll come back, he promised, holding her close. As soon as I can, I'll come back to you. Take care of your father, Angela said, even though her heart was breaking. Family is important. Don't lose that for me. At the airport, he kissed her forehead, her cheeks, her hands, trying to memorize the feel of her. I love you, he said. I don't think I've said that yet, but I do. I love you more than I thought I could love anyone. I love you, too, Angela whispered. Now go, before I change my mind about being noble. Watching him walk through security felt like watching a piece of her soul leave. In Seoul, Taehyun's father was in intensive care. The stroke had been severe, left him paralyzed on one side, unable to speak clearly. The family gathered. Mother, brother, sister-in-law, various cousins, and business associates, all looking to Taehyun and Jae-hwan for leadership. The business can't wait for father to recover, Jae-hwan said during a family meeting. We need to make decisions now. What kind of decisions? Taehyun asked warily. Succession, management, direction. Jae-hwan's eyes were calculating. Mother thinks it's time to split father's holdings. I take the Korean operations, you take the American ones. It was a generous offer, more generous than Taehyun deserved given his recent defiance. What's the catch? He asked. Mi-sun spoke up. The catch is that you need to settle down, marry someone. Appropriate. Show the family, show our business partners that you're stable, reliable. Someone like Ji-woo, Taehyun guessed flatly. She's already agreed, Mi-sun said. She's willing to overlook your indiscretion with the American girl. Indiscretion, Taehyun repeated, his voice dangerous. That's what you're calling the woman I love? Taehyun, be reasonable. No. He stood. I'm done being reasonable. Done letting you dictate my life. Angela isn't an indiscretion. She's the best thing that's ever happened to me, and I'm not giving her up. Then you're giving up the business, Jae-hwan said quietly, because you can't have both. Not in our world. Then I guess I'm choosing her, Taehyun said, his heart pounding. Keep the business, keep the money, keep the family legacy. I'm out. The room erupted in chaos. Taehyun walked out, ignoring his mother's pleas, his brother's threats, the family's collective outrage. He went straight to the hospital, to his father's bedside. His father looked small, fragile. Nothing like the powerful man who'd built an empire. I'm sorry, Taehyun said quietly in Korean. I know this isn't what you wanted for me, but I can't be who you need me to be. I have to be who I am, and that means choosing her, choosing love, choosing happiness over duty. His father's eyes filled with tears. With great effort, he raised his good hand, touching Taehyun's cheek, and then he smiled. It was small, lopsided, but real. Approval, blessing. Go, his father managed to say, the words slurred, but clear enough. Be happy. Tae-hyun caught the next flight back to the States. When he showed up at Tendai's apartment at 3 in the morning, soaking wet from the rain, Angela opened the door in her pajamas, eyes wide. "What are you doing here? Your father is going to be okay," Tae-hyun interrupted, "and he told me to come back to you, so here I am. But your family doesn't get to decide my future anymore," Tae-hyun said firmly. "I'm done choosing duty over happiness. I'm choosing you, if you'll still have me." Angela pulled him inside, into the warm apartment, into her arms. "You gave up everything," she said, crying and laughing at the same time. "I gave up one life for a better one," Tae-hyun corrected. "I have some money saved, some skills, some connections outside the family business. We'll figure it out." "Together?" Angela asked. "Together," he confirmed, and kissed her forehead, her cheeks, her hands, sealing the promise. Outside, snow began to fall, covering Omaha in white. Inside, two people who'd found each other against all odds held each other close, ready to face whatever came next. 6 months later, Angela graduated from nursing school. Tae-hyun had insisted on paying for it with money he'd saved independently. They'd moved into a small house in Lawrence, Kansas. Nothing fancy, but theirs. Tae-hyun had started a legitimate consulting business, helping Korean companies navigate American markets. It wasn't the empire his father had built, but it was honest work that let him sleep at night. Tendai visited often, having finally accepted that his sister had found someone worth the chaos. And on a quiet Sunday morning in June, Tae-hyun took Angela to a park overlooking the Kansas River and got down on one knee. "I know I don't have much to offer anymore," he said, holding a simple ring. Not a diamond, but her birthstone. No empire, no family fortune, no guarantees. Just me. But if that's enough, if I'm enough, then Angela Moyo, will you marry me? She pulled him to his feet, laughing through tears. "You're more than enough. You're everything. And yes, yes, I'll marry you." He spun her around, both of them giddy and breathless, and so in love. They got married 3 months later in a small ceremony. Tendai walked Angela down the aisle. Sung-min served as Tae-hyun's best man, and Angela's mother flew in from Harare with tears in her eyes. Mi-sun didn't attend, but she sent a gift, a traditional Korean wedding chest with a note. "I may not understand your choices, but I respect your happiness. Mother." It was a start. As Angela and Tae-hyun danced at their reception, in a community center decorated with flowers and love, he whispered, "No regrets." "Only that I didn't meet you sooner," she said honestly. "What about you?" Tae-hyun looked around, at the friends they'd made, the simple joy on everyone's faces, the life they were building together. "Not a single one," he said, and meant it with everything in him. Years later, when people asked how they met, they'd always smile and say the same thing. "She saved my life, and then she gave me a reason to live it." And really, what better love story could there be? So there you have it. Proof that sometimes the best things in life are worth fighting for, that love doesn't always make sense, but it's real when it matters, and that choosing happiness over expectation isn't selfish, it's brave. If this story touched you, hit that like button, drop a comment about your favorite moment, and subscribe because we've got more stories about love that defies the odds coming your way.